Hello, guys, and welcome to today's tropical update. We're gonna definitely do a double daily today because we are 12 hours from landfall. So I'm gonna do a video right now and a video, sometime in close to the evening hours as Tiffany makes its last approach to the northern territories of Australia. All right, so here we are. We are located at 15.2 south, 138.0 east. Maximum sustained winds are 45 knots or 50 miles per hour, but I do think it's a little more than this, a little bit more than this, probably 50 knots or maybe 55 knots. That's just my opinion. That's my analysis. Uh, but the minimal central pressure is down to 997 millibars. And as you can see here, it is it's getting its act together here 12 hours before landfall here. You can see that you know the circulation is around 137 here, so it's still's got a little bit to go here before it goes on land. And as you can see, the convection is pretty healthy here at this current point in time. We got banding features and everything, and if you look at a radar, there is a full eye on the radar, so this thing could be rapidly intensifying up until landfall, but we're gonna have to see how that turns out. But right now, Joint Typhoon Warning Center only has a 50 knot peak with this. So we're just going to have to see what happens with that. So actually, let's take a look at it right now. Oh, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center keeps it at 45 knots the whole time, which I strongly disagree with. Well, not too many strongs, but I strongly disagree with 45 knots as it still has much time. 12 hours, it can be in eternity for these storms, and we've seen many times in the past what 12 hours can do to a system, especially in 31 or 32 degrees Celsius waters. And I think the wind shear is backing off a little bit too. So these are recipes for this to start intensifying again on approach to the northern territories. All right, so here is the GFS. This was initialized as 6C today, and this is 6 hours out. And as you can see, 995 millibars. We're going to check the wind shear too to get a sounding. Yeah, see, the wind shear is only at 12 knots, so that's probably enough for intensification purposes. And the relative humidity is at 86%. So as you can see, the GFS has about 12 hours left at this point, since this was at 60, which is at 2 a.m. So yeah, there's about 11 to 12 hours before landfall, according to the GFS, and it makes landfall at 993 millibars. So that's a pretty decent tropical storm. So let's see what the total accumulations are here, and they're pretty much the same as they were about 100 millimeters to even up to 200 millimeters in some of these island chains here. And then once you get to 5 days out, Tiffany stalls out and probably interacts with another, feature here that's coming into Australia, which is probably maybe some monsoonal action. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but it looks like it's not the same system because Tiffany obviously goes left and down, and then you got this new feature coming to the right. So it's either monsoonal or front that's going to meet up with Tiffany and bring some excessive amounts of rain here into the northern territories of Australia. So if we can find the 200 millibar winds, as you can see here, the shear has lightened up a good bit here, and that's what's going to allow this to thrive going into landfall later on in the next like 12 hours. So with that being said, let's check out 200 here. And as you can see, there is some shear about, at least in the 200 850 millibar levels. So I guess people use this more, the 200 millibar wind speed. So yeah, this is looking ripe for intensification up until landfall. All right, so with that being said, let's take a look at the European here. This was initialized yesterday at 8 p.m. or 0Z, and when you can see since it strengthens pretty nicely actually. 20 millibars in 24 hours. That's almost rapid intensification, really, almost. So at landfall, it goes down to about 984 millibars, and then since it's gonna take a while to weaken, 996 there in the Northern Territories, and then it strengthens again, 989 millibars, and then it starts going south, 991, 990. So you gotta love a inland, strengthening tropical cyclone. I don't know why the European is doing that, but it might be interactions with another, you know, feature, like I said, from the GFS. It could be that, but we're gonna have to see what happens going out through time. All right, so here is the CMC, and we are going to see what happens with this. All right, this was initialized at 0Z yesterday, so take about 12 hours out. So about here, 995, the 994, 989, and that's landfall. So that's a Category 1 cyclone knocking on the door of the Northern Territories, and then we're gonna go out. We're gonna go out 5 days to see what happens. And as you can see, Tiffany just kind of meanders and then just poofs. Well, it doesn't poof. It just rains itself out over Alaska. So I know that's not what we want. Excuse me. Okay, now we're screwing up. Now we're screwing up. Okay, now we're back. Total accumulations. Let's see what the CMC had to say with accumulations here. Pretty nifty amounts here. There's some coastal areas here in the Northern Territories that can pick up what looks like to be 300 millimeters or more of rain here in the next 54 hours. And we're going to go to 120. And as you can see, these rainfall amounts are just hella out there right now. There's some 500 millimeter, rainfall uh, totals here. So this is nothing to sneeze at when Tiffany gets inland farther and it interacts with whatever is about to interact with over here coming from the northwest side. So the flooding rain is going to be an issue going way forward in time. And I will cover this as long as it's named and as long as it's still a tropical cyclone. Even if it's inland, I'm going to cover it. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to take a look at the icon here. And this was initialized as 6C. And as you can see, it doesn't really intensify it all that much from where it is right now. Even though it's at 997 right now and probably strengthening at this point in time, it makes landfall at around a 995 millibar system. Let's take a look at the wind shear here, though. It looks like the 200 millibar is pretty low here for this system, according to the icon. It barely misses out on the blues, the light blues here. So this could be lead to intensification purposes going forward in time. All right, so here is the sea surface temperatures. As you can see, we got 31s, 30s, and even some 32s creeping up here at the coast here. I don't know if that's enough to use, as that's super close to the coast there. So it definitely has the rocket fuel to do some do some heavy, well, not heavy, but doing some intensification purposes, since it looks like the shear is going to be lower, and it looks like it's starting to, like I said, on a radar. If you look on a radar, there's definitely a full eye on the radar. So you know, you take that as you will, and I'm just being honest with you. There's been signs of a full eye on radar. So if that's the case, then these waters are gonna be, you know, as I said, rocket fuel for that eye to absorb and get stronger as we head into landfall. All right. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching. I will have another update on Tiffany later on this evening. Have a nice day.